Baltimore oil. Baltimore oil. Bobolink. Bobolink, definitely bobolink. Oh, this is a rose-breasted grosbeak. Yes, rose-breasted grosbeak. Oh my Lord, this is great. This is a black-billed cuckoo. Grace, it's a black-billed cuckoo.
My name is Muriel, foolish old man.
I know your name is Muriel. That's what I called you.
You called me Grace. Grace was your first wife.
I called you Muriel. You're just hard of hearing and you won't admit it. Grace is what I said. Grace is what I said.
There you said it.
What?
Grace. You called me Grace.
Silly old woman. You call me Harry, but I call you Grace.
Can't you hear yourself?
What?
I said, can't you hear yourself?
Of course I can hear myself. It's you that can't hear. I say that you call me Harry sometime. Your second husband. Sometimes George, too, your first.
I never did. You're saying that because you call me Grace. And once in a while, Mary.
You just don't hear.
What's my name?
Silly question. Muriel. Muriel, you're Muriel. Grace was my first wife, and Mary was way long ago.
Mary was before Grace.
No, she wasn't.
She was.
I should know who my first wife was. God damn it, woman.
That's it. Just call me woman. We won't get confused. It's not very flattering, but it's better than being called the names of your other wives. My name's Muriel. Your name's Harry.
Did you hear? Did you hear? You just called me Harry. You're the pot calling the kettle black.
You got me confused, that's all. You always could mix me up. Back then when we were going to Europe.
We've never been to Europe. That was Harry.
You and I went to Europe.
We did not. Grace and I went to Europe on our honeymoon. That's when I had money before women took it all.
I've been to Europe with you?
You and Harry went to Europe.
I went to Europe with George, too.
Yes, well, I'm Herbert.
We never been to Europe?
Singly, but not together.
I think we have. You've forgotten.
I have a perfectly good memory, really.
You can't even remember my name. You and I were in Venice together. You're ashamed to remember it because of the scandalous good times we had. You loved me then.
I didn't love you when you were in Venice having a scandalous good time with whoever it was, George or Harry. It wasn't me, though. Who was it?
It was you.
I've never been to Venice in my life.
Yesterday you said you'd never been to Chicago, and I proved you were wrong on that. Your second daughter by your first wife died there. We went to the funeral.
Grace?
Your daughter's name?
No, Grace's girl.
Grace wasn't your first wife. Mary was.
Were you there? Oh, I don't know. I tell you, one was enough. Two was plenty, and I don't know what got into me to try the third time, really.
You were sick and you were too tight to hire a nurse, so you married me.
I got well. Why didn't I kick you out after that? I mean, really, it was... Oh, now, come on. Don't cry. You know I don't mean it. You're always crying. You were always crying. You cried buckets at our son's wedding. Come on now, you took on something awful. It's all right.
We didn't have any children. I don't cry. That was Mary. I'm Muriel.
Oh, well, it's no wonder I'm confused. Which I'm not really, but all the time you're saying Grace and Mary and Muriel.
Just trying to straighten you out.
What difference does it make? I answer when you call me Bernie.
I never called you Bernie. I maybe once or twice called you Harry when I woke up in the middle of the night sudden-like and didn't know where I was. I never knew a Bernie.
Bernie?
Never heard of him.
Oh, he'd be pleased to hear that.
Who was he?
Well, you were carrying on with him when I met you.
I was married to Harry when you met me.
And carrying on with Bernie. But he cleared out.
That must have been Grace.
You were carrying on with?
No, Grace must have been carrying on with Bernie.
Grace wasn't married before. I was her first husband.
Not married, carrying on.
She was married to Harry and carrying on with Bernie.
You said she wasn't married before.
You were. I said you were.
What day of the week is it?
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with?
You can't remember anything anymore, senile old man. Bernie Walters.
That's him.
Who?
Bernie Walters.
Never heard of him.
You just said his name.
Well, you've been saying it here for an hour. I repeated it.
You said Bernie Walters.
I said I never heard of him. And besides, I wasn't married to Harry when I met you. If it was George. It was George. And if I'd been married to Harry, I wouldn't have even looked at you. Oh, fine, strapping man. May he rest in peace. What he did in Venice.
You see, it was Harry in Venice.
Of course it was Harry in Venice.
Well, you said it was me earlier.
You? Huh? You wouldn't have it in you to do a thing like that.
What? Thing like what?
Don't be jealous of a dead man. I've done the best to forget him, George, like I promised when I married you.
I'm Herbert.
Do you keep repeating it so you won't forget who you are?
You called me George just now. You just called me George.
A hearing aid's a cheap thing.
Now see here, Grace. It's really...
I'm Muriel.
Yes, Muriel. Listen, you talk about me. What about you? Muriel, I'm Muriel. You're saying that.
Cuckoo.
Oh, you saw a cuckoo? No. You see one? No. Never mind. Listen, I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't call you Grace. Grace was soft and gentle and kind.
Why'd you leave her then?
I didn't. She died.
Oh, Mary died. Your first wife. You got sick of Grace, left her, and married me.
Left Grace for you?
Yes, you silly old man.
All wrong, all wrong. Grace was my darling.
She drove you crazy.
My first love.
Mary.
Oh, Mary drove me crazy.
She was your first love. You've told me about it often enough, the two of you young colts prancing around in the nude.
Mary?
Yes.
I never saw Mary naked. That was her trouble. She was a cold woman.
That was Grace.
Grace I saw naked. Oh, how naked. Oh, there was never anyone nakeder than Grace.
You can only be naked. You can't be more or less naked.
You didn't know Grace.
Mary, I did know Grace.
Naked?
Keep a civil tongue in your head.
Well, I never saw you naked.
No, and not likely to. What'd be the point? You couldn't do anything about it.
That's what you think.
You married me at 70 and you were through then, except for dreaming.
You're lying. We had some good goes together down by the beach, remember?
You and I were never near a beach, and you were never near me in that way.
Old women forget the joys of the flesh. Why is that?
I don't forget Bernie.
Who?
Bernie Walters,
Never heard of him.
my second husband. I was married to him when Harry came along, but Harry went away, and then you came along a long time after that. Platonic marriage. That's what we've had, you and I, George. But it's all right.
Platonic, was it, under the willow tree that June?
What willow tree?
Oh, I've been good to you, Mary, for all your carping and your falling off in your old age, because I remember that willow tree. Muriel never knew about it. We were wicked.
If I thought you knew what you were talking about, I'd get mad. But I know you're just babbling. Babbling Bernie. That's you. Herbert used to say, how can you listen to him babble?
I'm Herbert.
Well, if it makes you feel more secure, go on, keep reminding yourself.
You keep calling me Bernie.
Oh, sure. You've never been to Chicago.
I have so. I went there when my daughter died.
Well, I'm glad you admit it.
Well, why shouldn't I admit it? It's so. You just try to confuse me with Bernie, Harry, George, Grace, Mary. I can't keep them straight.
You started a long time slipping. Only then you were more honest about it. Very touching. When we went to Florida, you gave me the tickets and said, Grace, my mind's slipping. Take care of the tickets.
Your name's Muriel.
Yes, yes, lovely. My name's Muriel.
You referred to yourself as Grace just now.
Very likely, very likely.
You said, I gave you the tickets in Florida and said, Grace, my mind's slipping.
Well, it was.
Well, I've never been to Florida.
Well, let's not go into it. The pongee suit.
Ponzi suit? I never owned a Ponzi suit. What's a Ponzi suit? Like a Ponzi scheme?
You said it was the same suit you wore when you married Helen. And we had a long discussion about how ironic it was that you were wearing the same suit to run away with me.
Who is Helen?
You were married to her, silly.
I was running away to Florida with you, and I was so old, my mind was slipping, and I couldn't remember the tickets.
Lovey, you're running a lot of things that happened at different times together now.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just sit quietly for a while, Harry,
All right.
until we get straightened out.
Harry, my name is Herbert.
That's right. We'll start from there. You're Herbert, and I'm Grace.
You're Muriel.
That's right. Now, let's just leave it at that now, or you won't sleep tonight.
I always sleep.
A fortune for sleeping pills.
I never had one in my life.
You've never been to Chicago either, I suppose.
Now, why should I have gone to Chicago?
Only because our daughter died there, and we went to the funeral.
But we had no children together.
I think we shouldn't talk anymore now. You're getting confused.
I think that you never let me near your lily-white body.
What about that afternoon under the willow tree? I think that's when we conceived Ralph.
Who's Ralph?
Ralph is your stepson, good God.
I conceived my stepson under a willow tree?
I'd prefer it if we just remain quiet for a while. You can't follow a train of thought for more than a moment, and it's very tiring trying to jump back and forth with you. Just close your eyes now and rest. Are your eyes hurting you?
Well, no.
That medicine must be very good then.
What medicine?
You see, that's what I mean.
I never had any medicine for my eyes.
Yes, all right. All right, let's not argue,
No,
George.
No, I'm Harry.
Yes, all right. We'll just hold hands here and try to doze a little and think of happier days.
Yeah, that's best. Venice.
Yeah.
Remember Venice?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Wasn't that lovely? You were so gallant, if slightly shocking.
the beach.
The willow tree.
Oh, yeah, so lovely. You running around naked. Oh, lovely. Yes, it was
Lovely.
lovely.
Yes, lovely. Thank you. We lived through it.
Yes.
Well, we're not off the stage yet. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Wonderful
Thank you
audience.
up there. No. Would love it if somebody else would do something like this.
What is her name, though? I recognize you, but what is your name? No, never mind.
I'm Harry.
And I'm Herbert. Did we say? Did anybody tell the folks that the author of the play? It's Robert. It's the play from which this is taken is I can't hear you. Know I can't hear you when the water is running.
Yep. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that play? And
Yes.
It is
Yes.
by, of course, everybody knows that it's by Robert Anderson.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Robert Anderson.
Thank you, Robert Anderson.
And thank you all for being here and putting up with this. Thank you again.
Yeah. Great audience.
Yes, you were. Thank you.
And I'm glad nobody's reviewing me.
No, and nobody threw anything.
The shoe is on the other foot. There's the wonderful Bingo O'Malley. I used to review him, and I wasn't always extremely kind. And I deserve a lot of payback for that, but I'll get off the stage before you can do it.
Some people.
So thanks again for coming.
Never, never. I'm not 100 yet, though. I'll still be going.
And Richard, thank you for playing.